Guys, I got an article. I'm gonna link it in the description down below. And speaking of links, Breath of the Wild is apparently back in the news. I snagged this article. It's talking about how this game is highly overrated. Alright, so listen here, Sunshine. I got a little bit of news for you. Breath of the Wild, Fallout 4, Skyrim, Grand Theft Auto 5, Horizon Zero Dawn. What do all these games have in common? Dead Space. They all have Dead Space. What do I mean? The maps. The maps are massive. Don't get it twisted. Every single one of these games are massive. Okay? They have massive amounts of dead space. Do you feel me? I'm not exempting any of these games from having the same flaw. You, Sunshine, you crybaby fanboy, you were crying because Zelda got high marks. Zelda got a 10 out of 10. Zelda got a 9 out of 10. Zelda got a 9.5. I should type on the keyboard. I should cry. I should tout and post and tweet that it's a terrible game. No. What I'm saying to you is this. Don't bitch about a game just because it's on Nintendo, just because it's on the Switch. Don't be bitching about a game just because it's not on your piece of plastic. Okay? I'm not bitching about Horizon Zero Dawn because it's not on the Switch. I'm not bitching about Skyrim because it's coming to the Switch. I'm not bitching about Grand Theft Auto 5. Okay? What I'm saying to you is this. All these games had dead zones, and I've not heard one person complain about the dead zones in any of these games. But I consistently hear people bitch about the amount of dead space in Breath of the Wild. But I've never heard anyone complain about the fact that if you want to turn on Skyrim and do nothing, you can do that. I never heard anyone complain about that. I never heard anyone complain about Horizon Zero Dawn having dead space, but yet I watch my girlfriend play it all the time, and I see tons and tons and tons of dead space. No one complains about it. But let Breath of the Wild come out, and it have dead space in it, and everyone loses their collective shit. Not to steal from Heath Ledger, but that's what's going on. Like, it's supposed to get low markings because of this? Because it's doing the same thing as all these other open world games because the maps are big as fuck? I'm the one who has sat here on my channel several times saying the maps need to shrink, not get bigger, okay? I'm the one who said, I have not heard one other person say this, but I've said this several times. If that irks you to death, then go out and say it to the company. Say, hey, look, man, these maps are too big. You need to shrink them down. But what you're doing by doing this, okay, is you're admitting that you're playing this game with intent to do nothing. Your intention is to turn on Breath of the Wild and find nothing to do. There is plenty to do in Breath of the Wild, okay? Just like there's plenty to do in Skyrim, but the difference is in Skyrim, a lot of players will not openly admit they fast travel. Fast travel is a thing in these massive open world games, but not a lot of people like to admit that they use fast travel. Not a lot of people do. Yet, it's used. It's one of the biggest features in these games. Think about it this way. If they took fast travel out, would you honestly sit there and play Skyrim as much as you do? If they took fast travel out of Skyrim, would you play it? If they took it out of Breath of the Wild, which is a big part of Breath of the Wild. Once you open the tower, or once you go to one of those, I forget, shrines, you can fast travel back to it. That is a feature that is used a lot. What's the big fucking deal? I still put over 100 hours, I believe, in Breath of the Wild and use fast travel a shit ton. Just like a lot of people. But I don't turn it on with the intent to do nothing, which is what a lot of people who complain about this game are doing, and they're openly admitting it, and no one's calling them out on their bullshit. Well, here it is. Sunshine, if you turn this game on with intent to do nothing, I don't want to hear about it. And I don't think anybody else does either. Because what you're doing is going, hey, listen to me complain about the fact this game has no content in it because I bought it with intent to turn it on and cry about the fact there's no content in this game, but yet there's plenty of content in this game. I'm just going around trying to not find it. I'm actually avoiding it. That is what you're openly admitting when you do that shit, and you look like a fucking moron. Congratulations. I just pimp slapped the shit out of you and made you look like a fucking fool. Yes, these games have dead space. I'm not going to take that away. But when you neglect every single title that has dead space in it and you only want to attack one because it's not on your piece of plastic, you fanboy, that is what you are. Do you understand me? I'm not going to sit here and neglect Skyrim, Fallout 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, just because they're all the same. And Breath of the Wild happens to be a Nintendo game. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sit here and neglect all these titles that are exactly the same just because they're prettier, 1080p, 60 frames a second, can be upscaled to 4K. I'm not going to do that shit. I'm not going to do that. I'm not fanboying. I'm not picking and choosing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So do me a favor. If you turn on a game with intent to do nothing, don't talk about it because you look like an idiot. I think I debunked it. I think you understand now. If you want to play Breath of the Wild, play Breath of the Wild. Nothing wrong with the fucking game. There's actually a lot to do in this game. It's actually very well done. And the reason Zelda got high marks, and this should not surprise anybody, is it's been out for 3 fucking decades. The franchise has done well. Every time this game comes out, it's a system seller. It gets high marks. Same thing with Grand Theft Auto. Every time a Grand Theft Auto comes out, it's a good game and it gets high marks. Why would you expect less? I think we as a community have started to just downgrade our fucking shit and have started to become dumber. That's all I got for you guys. Again, link in the description down below if you want to go read this guy's article. But the more I hear people talking about how there's nothing to do in fucking Breath of the Wild, the more I am more convinced that these idiots are just turning it on to find nothing to do so they have something to bitch about. Because I can do the same thing in Skyrim. I can do the same thing in Horizon. I can do the same thing in fucking Grand Theft Auto. The difference is I'm not going to turn on my camera and do this shit because I look like a jackass who just spent my money to complain about games, to complain about them. There's no point in that. The game is a good game. These games are good games. The problem is the map size. Talk to the fucking creators about making that map smaller, not bigger. We don't really need these ginormous maps. That's all it is. At the end of the day, it's all it's ever been. Chill the fuck out. Deuces.